Hello everyone, my name is CharryOn, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. Gosh, my arms are really tired from all this turning of the quern. It sure would be cool if we could automate this kind of job, wouldn't it? Oh wait, we can! Look at it guys, the trees are rustling, the grass is waving ever so slightly. We have a fresh, now a strong breeze, now a fresh breeze again. What if we could harness the power of the wind to automate our quern? Well, that's what I'm saying. We can. That's right, folks. Today we are getting into automating your quern with the power of the wind. There are other ways to automate your quern, namely with water, but you can't actually make a water wheel until you have access to iron. So today we're going to focus on building a windmill to automate our quern. Now windmills start with a few things. We're going to need some flax, and we're going to need enough flax to make a whole bunch of linen. Now, each stack of flax will make 16 flax twine, and each stack of 16 twine will make 4 pieces of linen cloth. Now, each set of 4 linen cloth can be used to make 1 windmill rotor blade, but to actually finish that, we're going to need some more materials. So let's go over to the storehouse and see what we have available over there. Ah, that's right. I have been busy between episodes chopping down and replanting all of our trees, so we have a fresh set of wood to work with here. Let's grab maybe 2 stacks of this. We're also going to need some sticks, which we have back at the other base, and then we need some fat and some resin. We also need some tools, so I think we need to make a trip up to, yes, up to the new bakery and pick those up. And by the way guys, I had a little private stream with the channel members recently where I came up with the silly pun-worthy name of the Pie in the Sky Bakery. Soon to be the Pie in the Sky Mill and Bakery. Oh, and check it out as we make our way home. The first of our fruit trees has sprouted. Our first pink apple tree. Oh, perfect. Now these 2 back here, both of them died and I replaced them in between episodes. So we have 2 more that will be starting and we should know if they're going to live or die by early August or so. I also went and planted a whole new field just for flax. That field is just for flax because we're going to need a ton of it going forward. And I realized our production was not going to keep up. Now we're going to need a few other materials as well. I've been storing up this rendered fat for quite some time, and although we've used a lot of it to make the oil lamps, we've also kept plenty of it. A while back I said to make sure that you start collecting and mark your resin, because you're going to need it later. Well, this is later. Alright, let's go outside and let's play around with the wind. We now have a moderate breeze, which I think is a step above a fresh breeze. Let's go ahead and build this up a little bit. And we're going to build our first windmill rotor and windmill blades. Now the blades are quite simple. We're going to split these like this. We're going to put some sticks in here. I think it's 3 that you need. And then we're going to also put in 2 of each of these support beams. That will get you 1 set of windmill sails, just like that. We're also going to need a rotor. It's been a while since I made this, so we're going to go to the handbook and look it up. So it is going to be 2 logs of basically any type, 1 piece of fat, 1 piece of resin, a chisel, here we go, and a hammer. We have our first rotor. Oh boy, does this feel good to have in our hands the first bit of power. Oh, it's backwards. Doesn't matter. Now, in order to use a rotor with sails, you need the rotor down somewhere, and then you need to add your sails to it. Assuming there is wind, they'll begin to turn. Now they'll blow as long as the wind is not calm. There is no way of checking in the character menu whether it's calm or not, but if you have the HUD clock mod on, you can see the wind is fresh breeze, not strong breeze. Or if you don't have that on, you can always look at the grass or the trees or your crops, or something that is planty and branchy and leafy. Now this is all well and good. We now have a moving windmill. How do we use it? Well, let's go get the quern from inside here. You come with me. And we're going to plop this guy down right about here. And we need two things. We need to bring some power through some axles, which are going to come out this side here. And they're going to come out. We need to make an angled gear to bend it down to turn it into a vertical shaft, and that will go into the top of our quern. So to make some axles, you're going to need some fat, some logs, your chisel, and I believe the hammer again. Yes, here we go. Each craft of this makes 2 axles. That should be enough to start here. I'm going to go ahead and plop that on top. And now, to connect them, we need to make an angled gear. Let's go ahead and do that. And by do that, I mean, let's look it up because this one is a little complicated. Here we go. This one requires a whole bunch of stuff. We need sticks. We need a log. We need some fat. We need some resin. We need the hammer. We need the chisel. And we need the saw. And some of these are going to really beat up your tools. So make sure that you have some spares on hand if you're making a lot of these mechanical parts. So let's grab this. Yep, I saw that chunk the saw down pretty good there. And now we can plop this on here. Oh, it must be attached to a block. There, perfect. Look at that. Load-bearing dirt. It's trying to blow, but it doesn't have a whole lot of power, even though we have a gale wind. I'm going to take this down here, and this guy down. And yeah, it is still not able to turn more than that. Wow, look at that. Strong breeze. It is barely going. We could put this in here and come back in about a year, and maybe this would be done grinding. So one set of sails, as you can see, doesn't really give you a whole lot of power. You'll see at the top it says wind speed and the sail's power output measured in kilonewtons. These are both important as the wind speed will determine roughly how fast your sails could spin based on the wind alone, and the kilonewtons, or the power output, is actually more a measure of torque, showing how hard your windmill can turn whatever is behind it. Now every machine, in fact every even axle and every gear you have, is going to sap a little bit of that energy, a little bit of that torque, that turning power. And machines like quern, which is a machine, will sap even more. So we're going to need to actually expand this. And you can do that by adding more sails. Each windmill rotor of this size, these are the regular standard windmill rotors, which have been in the game for quite some time, each of these can take up to 5 sets of sails. Let's go make a few more sets and see what we can do with that. And it seems like the support beams have to be the same kind of wood too. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and we're going to try to pop these on here. Uh-oh. It says, cannot add more sails. Make sure there's space for the sails to rotate freely. So windmills, in addition to needing some wind, also need space to move, which I guess, makes pretty logical sense. So why don't we get a few more axles here, and we're going to raise this up a few blocks. Okay, there we go. It is now a bit taller. As you can see, despite the breeze, it still isn't moving. And that could be because we were just on the verge of being able to turn this before. By adding in a few more axles, we may have dropped it just that tiny bit to the point where it can't actually move even with a fresh breeze. So let's try adding one more set of sails. So now we have 40 kilonewtons of power, still at roughly 25 to 50% wind speed. But now we're turning. We're even turning reliably. Look at that. And now it's actually grinding our limestones into lime. It is a bit slow. We'll say it's even slower than we could turn it by hand. But now we can leave this here and we could go somewhere. We could go and, say, build some more builds. We could go and gather supplies. We could go hunting. We could do whatever. And our hands are free. And when we come back here, this might not be done, but at least we'll have more than 0 done, which is what we would have had done before. Now, obviously, the more sails you add, the more power. Let's go ahead and make one more set of sails and see if we can get this thing moving like it means it. All right, one more set of sails. We got 60 kilonewtons coming out now. Oh, listen to that. That sped up now. There we go. Look at that. Now, earlier you saw that when it was right above the ground, we couldn't add a new sail onto it because it was too close to the ground. That's because the sails are not allowed to intersect any blocks, including soft ones like grass or flowers, but they can, oddly, intersect other sails. Don't ask, and no, it isn't ideal. You also want to be careful because if you also add a block where your sails are trying to turn, like say here, then your whole windmill will break and fall apart. You want to pick up your sails, make sure you can add them back on. That's not a sail. That's a sail. And as you'll see, it actually needs one extra block of clearance above the ground, or any other block. Go ahead and add these back in. And for now, I think I'm happy to let it grind away at a stack or two of limestone for no particular reason. And in the meantime, we can put our freshly ground lime away, and maybe even put some of these away here, so that we can do some chores while that goes ahead and grinds our limestone for us. I am thinking it would be a great time to grab our scythe, and let's go and cut down a whole bunch of these cattails, and then maybe we'll work on our bees and get them harvested. We could also hunt us some wild pig. Oh, there's more. Worth it. Oh, quern of truth, what do you hold for me? Well, I see no more dust coming out, which must mean, yes, the rest of that stack of lime is done grinding. We could put these sheep horns in here, let them grind a little slowly, but it'll get done. And we can go make some more food and tend to the bees, and then grind up another stack of limestone for no particular reason. Okay, good morning folks, with all those chores done overnight and some fat rendering on the fire. Let's go check out our quern here. We still have a bit to go, but we're getting there. Should just be a few more minutes, not too shabby. But gee, it sure would be nice if we could speed this up even more. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Oh wait, we can! That's right. For one, we could, of course, rate this up another block or two and add 2 more sails on, and that would get us some more torque. But I kind of suspect that this is already turning about as fast as the light wind would allow. Although now we have a near gale, so it is sped up. You can hear that the sounds of the quern are also faster, and it spins faster. But what if we could get more reliable, higher speed wind just in general? Well, we can. And the trick to doing that is to put your windmill high up. And wouldn't it be great if we had somewhere high up that we could build? Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Oh, right. The pie-in-the-sky bakery, soon to be the pie-in-the-sky mill and bakery. That's right. Just like in the real world, by putting your windmill higher up, it can gain access to higher wind speeds and thereby run more reliably and generally run faster. Now, the local wind speed is determined by a bunch of different factors, one of them being how high you are above sea level. Also, just the general wind of a particular area has an effect on it, and also the random chance of any given wind speed at any given time. What that means is, if it is not blowing at all, if it is calm here at the surface, then it's likely to be calm or, at best, a very light breeze higher up. But if you have, say, a fresh breeze down here, you might have a strong breeze or even a near gale somewhere higher up. Now, the way this works is that for any given wind speed down at the surface, starting at Y121, and we are currently at 120, your windmill will gain a 1% increase in the apparent wind speed per block above 120. So here at 121, 122, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is already about 6% faster than it would be if it were down here at ground level, which it can't be because it would be in the ground. Now, these exact values only hold true for worlds that have a default height setting and therefore have sea level at Y110. As far as how high can you go, though, you can get a 1% boost for every block up to 50%. That means that at about Y170, you will have maxed out the available wind speed, and you can't really get any more by building higher. Now you certainly can get less by building lower, and it goes down quickly. At only 4 blocks below sea level, or at Y106, you will lose 50% of your power, and only 12 blocks down or 16 blocks down, you lose 80%. So don't go building your windmills underground. Although you can build them in a mountain, and I might know someone who's done exactly that.
Did someone say my name? Or just a reference to this affront to man and God both?
It's truly an abomination.
But in order to turn, your windmills also need sunlight level 5 or higher. So if you're building inside a mountain, you need to make sure there's like a shaft of sunlight reaching down. Although you can turn that off with a particular command, which is on screen right now. It is /worldconfig underground windmills space true. You'll have to reload the world, but then you can be as cheaty and cheesy as you want, and I will judge you forever for it. It looks like this is just about done here. Here we go. And let's tear this down, and let's build this somewhere where we will get a bit more power. And maybe we'll also bring up 2 more sets of sails while we're at it. Heh. No particular reason, I told them. Little do they know that I am out of mortar. Hey, don't say that so loud, they'll hear you. It's fine, they can't hear us, I'm not recording. Man, you're so paranoid. Alright, folks, now that we sit in the eerie mists of pie in the sky, it is time for us to get to work. We are going to build this tower up by at least 1 more floor, and quite possibly a second one. And we're going to add a little peak for a roof, a long conical cap, and then we're going to attach this windmill to it so that it can spin freely without ever running into any of the blocks in our build. And that is why I have left the front of this relatively flat here. So we know that when we have our windmill popping out over the edge here, we will never have to worry about the windmill sails running into any of our blocks. But yes, we're going to build up, I think, yeah, we'll go up 2 more stories, because doing this story here would mean the windmill is right here. It's actually not too bad. But I think I want the tower to be just a bit taller and maybe start somewhere above that roof. That way they don't collide and lead to situations where I have to deal with a very strange shaped roof. Nobody likes dealing with strange shaped roofs, just like no one likes dealing with spiral stairs. Anyway, why don't we start by building our little bridge across here and mark out where we're going to have our cellar. So for that, I'm going to go and get some tools and probably put away some of the windmill stuff for now. And we're just going to build this up and get this whole thing started. And I kind of forgot you need to be near your fires when smelting things like quicklime. So we're going to do something else to prepare for our work today. And that is, I want to put some lanterns up in yon bakery up there. This season, I'd like to mostly use bismuth bronze for lanterns, but because that build is already very red, I was thinking that tin bronze might be a better choice. Now we only have 7 ingots here, and I'm going to need like, 5 or 6 total lanterns to illuminate the whole area. So let's go ahead and we're going to smelt a full batch of tin bronze ingots, maybe even make another tin bronze falx just in case this one goes belly up at some point. And then we're going to get to smithing some of these plates here. And now we're gathering sand, again, for no reason at all. Aw, shucks. Our yellow apple tree didn't make it. And now we're very carefully measuring out 16 liters of water for this barrel, for no particular reason. And now we're putting this quicklime in this barrel, for no particular reason. And now we're going to put the sand in the barrel, for no particular reason. It seems we have a flowering red currant bush. And a rogue sheep. Do you verily mind? Sir or madam, your forgiveness I do not implore, I demand. Oh, no. Oh, nope. She did not like that too much. Oh. Oh, nice try. I'm out of here. Well, we didn't finish all the plates, but I wanted to get some building done while it is still calm and bright out and not as misty. But I was able to at least make these two. And so let's go find some places to put these, and I'll show you why I think they're a nice fit for here. Let's maybe put one hanging, maybe off the wall here, like that. And we'll put one maybe out over here. Oh yeah, we're going to need one way out here to help illuminate everything out here. Maybe one we'll just put on the fence here, like that, using ground storage. But yeah, I think this color just really works well. Like if we maybe borrow this one, I'll show you what I mean. I feel like this one's nice and bright, but this one brings in a splash of a different color. And so I really do like it. I do think that I like the old lanterns better just because they have more of their actual material, like this guy right here. And I will leave this one for here while we are still building and while we are still behind on getting all of the lights that we need. Now, the plan for this floor up here is that we're going to raise everything up just like here. But unlike the other floors here and here, actually this one doesn't have one, we're not going to build any floors in here because we're just going to have the windmill and its axles coming down. So not really much to do up there, and I don't really plan on having any storage, so I might even just leave it largely open and not have any floor in there at all. Okay, finally, you know what we say around here. Let's get to it. Alright folks, I'm about to put the roof on up on the pie in the sky, but I came down here to get some more materials and I saw that some of our crops are ready. We have some onions here, the parsnips are partly ready to mostly ready, and we have some flax over here that is almost ready. Now, if you recall, last year in game, I said you want to, once you get your first harvest of the year, take your existing vegetables and we're going to dump them outside. So we're going to, let's see, grab these. Oh, I have no space. Let's see, all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And we're going to leave them out here to rot. Right in here. So that we can make some more compost and eventually start making some terra preta. Now I also have some onions in here, over in this container here. I'm going to save these for a little while longer because I want to use some of them to make yellow and orange dye. Now we only need 50 each per vat or per barrel of orange or yellow dye. And then orange is actually yellow dye with more onions. We can go ahead and we're going to bring these onions out and we will let these guys rot in the barrel out here or in the basket out here. Or the chest for that matter. And now I am free to go ahead and harvest all these onions and get them inside where they'll be nice and safe and sound for now. And like that, we have finished a roof with a level of detail we'll never be close enough to see. Oh, but I do see that these need to be pushed back a bit. I can fix that pretty quickly. And of course these do too. Okay. Okay, much better. So now we're going to hop up here and we're going to get our windmill in. Temporarily remove these blocks out of our way. And what we're going to do here is the windmill needs to come out not just to this block, but one more block here. So we're going to add in one more piece of light mud brick. Actually, I might chisel this first. Let's give this a bit of a chiseling first. There we go. Pretty basic, but gets the job done. And we're going to plop this guy right down there. Okay. And then we can take our axles. We're going to make sure that we're kind of aimed from this side, otherwise they might end up going in the wrong direction. And you will see that axle blocks will not actually connect with chisel blocks, no matter how solid their top surface is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our rotor here. We're going to plop this guy right there. We're going to move our dirt out of the way. And we're going to add our 3 sets of sails we've already made before. I also brought along with us enough to make 2 more sets. We have linen here, we got sticks here, and I got some logs we can turn into support beams right here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look at it go. Not much wind, but that must mean that there's barely anything on the surface, if anything. Add those 2 back in. And now we have the task of getting this wind power down from here, over to here, and into here. Now to do that, we're going to rely on 2 main things. 1, our pickaxe, and 2, I'm going to have to go down to the Stone Age house and get our wrench. Because, as I mentioned before, a long time ago, the wrench has 2 uses. One is that it can be used to turn blocks, like chisel blocks around or stair blocks. It just changes different orientations. The other is that it can be used to attach a block, a solid full block, mind you, to an axle. And that way you can transmit power through the axle and down through a wall. And that way we can still have a sealed room, such as a cellar like this, but also have the ability to run machinery without compromising that seal. So here we're going to bring this out by 1 like that. I'm going to put a stabilizing block, say right here, because the game won't let us place an angled gear unless the one adjacent to it, or the axle adjacent to it, is on a solid block. Then we can bring this down from here And what I don't know is, can we use a slab with the wrench? I doubt we can. So let's go ahead and find out. Explore this together. I'm going to bring this axle down by one more block, like that. And let's see what we can do here. So we can right shift, right click, add block covering. Unsuitable block material for axle coverage. Okay, so it must be a full block. Well, maybe we had to make some design concessions here to allow the axle to fall through. I'm going to fall through there again too. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we can... Axle must be attached to a block. I mean, it kind of is. It's inside a block, buddy. Let's try that. Is it cheesy enough? It is. Okay. And then we can go ahead and... Let's see. Let's add that there, and that there, and that there. And so here, once again, we're probably going to need to... Actually, probably make a new one of these blocks. Because this is a chiseled block, and you cannot use chiseled blocks. And I don't think you can even chisel a block once it's been attached. See, it says wooden axle when we look at the block. So I don't think we can actually even chisel that down. That's a bit of a shame. So let's go get some fresh wattle and daub, make a block, and we'll do the swap. Actually, we'll just grab this one here, because this is a real actual block of wattle and daub, and it's not chiseled. Just swap the two of you. So once again, we have our wrench in our offhand. I'm going to look at the axle itself, so right there. I'm going to hold your sprint key, in my case right shift, and right click with the solid unchiseled block of your choosing. That's going to put the axle down here, should be right under the bridge. There we go, alright. This might need some doctoring up then, once we're done here. But for now, let's go ahead. We're going to bring this across to the cellar. There we go. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bust through here. I'm going to break this guy. And we'll break that guy as well. Go ahead and add our axle right there. And then we can go ahead and add that on. Oh, we need the wrench. Of course we do. So right there. That was broken right there. So we should be able to dig through this block right here. Gonna find out in a second. Yep, there's our axle. Now I want the quern to be like straight across here, and we're gonna put it right on the ground here. But we're going to actually first dig this out, and we are going to run the axle the whole way through here. We're going to seal this up so the quern can sit on top of a solid block. And that's because the quern can actually be turned from both above and below. And now the quern turns. You can also then just add this block back in here as a regular block. And now, close the door. You can see we are still in a cellar, despite having, ostensibly, holes cut in it for purposes of the axle. So now we can come in here and we can put in whatever we want. I have nothing right now, but we could then grind it up into powder. So we can make flour, we can make our lime powder, we can make our sulfur into powder, and that's great. Now this has been great and all, but gee, wouldn't it be cool if we could grind more than one stack at a time? We could come up here and bring a whole boatload of different materials to grind and pop them in the quern and walk away. Oh wait, we can... That's right, folks. With the proper application of technology, we can burn our torches out. We can come in here and we can say some bones in here. I've been wanting to grind some bones to make some fertilizer for quite some time. And sure, well, we could certainly let them all hang out in the output slot here. If we instead take something that can't normally go into the output slot, like say a stick, it will throw the bone meal or resulting product out the side of the quern. Now, as it grinds, it's going to go in a sort of round robin fashion here, where it starts on the north side and tries to output. If it succeeds, it outputs. If not, such as over here on the eastern side, where it's blocked by a stone, then it will skip that and it'll start over with the grind operation, which is unfortunate. So you will lose some efficiency if you do not have all 4 output slots open. Now, as you can see, it is quite inconvenient to just have these sitting here. You have to stand here and collect them. I mean, at least you're letting your fingers rest, but this still is no way to be able to leave things in here and come back after, say, a day or two and find all your stuff ground. It will have disappeared because it'll despawn. So instead, what we can do, we can stop this for now, or we can leave it run. I'll just pick the stick out. And while this is going, we're going to go and we are going to make a few things. We need an input, and that's going to be a chest followed by a chute, which is made of copper. And then we're going to need a collection system. You can collect items with a hopper, just like in the other block game. Only this one is a bit more expensive, as you'll see in a bit. And then you can deliver that directly into a chest. So we're going to end up probably hiking this up by a block and letting it sit right about here. We'll have a chest up here and a chute. And then the quern, we'll have the axle coming up through a block. And then we'll have eventually probably 3 output sides. But for now, because the copper hoppers are very expensive and time consuming to make, we're going to make one of them and we'll see how that serves us. So let's go count our copper. Oh yeah, we have enough for today. We need a straight chute made of 2 chute sections. Each chute section is made with 1 copper ingot. So we need 2 copper ingots for that. Like those here. And then we need to make a hopper, and that is made with 3 copper plates. Each plate, of course, is 2 ingots, and therefore we need 6 ingots. 8 ingots to get this going. And we have a few left. We could certainly make 2 more hoppers, looks like. But because making so many plates is a real pain in the Copper and Bronze Age without a helve hammer, we're going to stick with 1 for now, 1 hopper. So I'm going to get this cooking, and then we are going to head back up, and I'll meet all of you back up at the pie in the sky. I don't have any torches. Aha! I have 1. Alright, we are coming back with our new copper plates and chute sections. We already have a chest up here. I think we'll repurpose this guy. Oop. Hey, my torches are here. Look at that. Although I'm realizing we need a second chest here, so maybe we'll go ahead and just make a second one. We do have enough wood and things. And let's check it out. Yep, our bone meal is done grinding. Wonderful. Go ahead and put 1 chest right there. Make our chute section. Oh, no, it is left and right, not up and down. Okay, that's fine. We're going to crouch, and we're going to place this like that. Next, we need to pick up our quern. So there we go. I'm going to add 1 more axle under here, like so. We'll place the quern right there. Now, this would be fine, but I think for the visuals, I want to go ahead and we're going to use the wrench to add this back in, just like that. Now, for the hopper and for the chest for collection, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dig out... I guess we'll have to dig out this block here. It's going to expose the axle, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think we'll survive somehow. So we'll dig this out here, get a little more light on the subject. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put this guy right there. So we have to really be on top of it to really see it, but we'll know it's there. And then make our hopper like so. And we can go ahead and plop this here. Now, since we only have the 1 hopper, and therefore we need to use the single output side right here, I'm going to take some dirt, if I have any. I don't have enough. Let's go grab some from our chest down here. And for the time being, we're going to force everything out into that spot there. Now, what can happen sometimes is the angle and direction and velocity of your output materials can vary somewhat. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab, say, another stack of bones here. we can reach up in here. We'll put our bones all up in this place. And we can move our limestone over as well. And then we can come here and put our stick in the output slot. So what can happen is sometimes you might end up in a situation where you have your product sort of flung out a little beyond, and it might sit here on the edge of the hopper. And that isn't great. And so what you need to do is just make sure you sort of plug this up a little bit. Yep, that's the hopper. Can I reach the chest? I cannot reach the chest. Let's go ahead and we're going to have to chisel this out a little bit here. Just like that. Chest, and there we go. And gee, this is really great, but it's really slow. Sure, I could come back in a few days and have maybe a stack or two of bone meal ground up, but only using one output slot is going to make things run really slowly around here. Sure, it would be cool if we could, speed it up. Yep, sure would be cool. But oh, my dear friends, we certainly can, and that is why I have left enough room here to do so. We're going to make a new piece of machinery here called a large gear. Large gears are used for changing the gear ratio from your input to your outputs. That can be either to overdrive or to, I'm not sure what the opposite is, but downshift basically. So you can either cause the input to turn slower and the output to turn faster, or vice versa. Now the large gears are a 1:5 ratio. So in theory, assuming you're getting maximum input torque, then you should see a 5 times increase in the output speed, which would mean we'd have about 20 bone meal by now, despite only using one output slot here. So let's go ahead and make a large gear. They're quite complex, and they also require a lot of materials. So large gear is made of 4 of these large gear sections, 24 boards, and 1 axle. And each of these sections is hammer, chisel, saw, 5 pieces of wood, 2 pieces of resin, 12 sticks. So they are indeed, like I said, quite pricey. I think I brought enough sticks with me to do all of this. I had another stack here somewhere. Oh dear. Well, I guess we're making another trip back down to the storehouse. And with the power of editing, the sticks have been acquired. We now have our 4 large gear sections. Lastly then, we need our axle. We need our 4 sections here. And we need 6 of these in each of these slots here. We have our very first large wooden gear. Now, the way that these work is that, let's put them down here just to show, they have a central shaft that can be powered or drawn from on the top or bottom right here. And then we have 4 outputs, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And we will need another angled gear to make use of that, but that isn't a problem here. So if your input is on the central axle here, and the output is on one of these 4 sides, then you're going to be overdriving it, and you will have an output speed of 5 times whatever your input speed is. I also looked up what the opposite of overdrive is. It is reduction, a reduction gear. So if you power instead the outside and take your power from the middle for your output, then you'll be reducing it by a factor of 5. Generally speaking, I don't really know of any reasons why you would reduce it, except maybe for like long distance power transmission, but I don't know that that would even do anything. And yes, this does mean if you have something powering the central shaft here, then you can power 4 devices off of these sides. And if you had more of these gears, then you could spread that power even more. But bear in mind that each device, and in fact each gear and axle, taking torque out of the system means that at some point, unless you have a whole lot of incoming torque from, say, a whole bunch of different windmills, then you might end up stopping your system. All right, let's get this guy out of here, and let's go put him up in our tower here and hook it up to our windmill. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is I am going to take down a couple levels of this. I'll take down this gear as well. We don't need that, at least not right now. And I want to bring the power out to the central shaft, which will be about here, And then I want to fall to the ground and then bring the power down through this axle. I like it over here because it's kind of out of the way. And given how large this gear is, this 3x3, we're going to have to slot it like over here to make it fit. So we're going to put that block there, and we should, if I stand way back here, be able to put this, oh, I think we need to actually put it on top of another block. So it's going to go right there in theory. Let's give that a whirl. There we go. And I can't get up because it's right at the very edge. Okay, so here we're going to bring this out to there, and we are then going to pop this. Oh, we need to put another block on, of course. And like magic, it works. Look at that. As you can imagine here, once we put another one of these on the output edge of this, it's going to spin very quickly. So here we go. I think we're going to need probably 2 more of these angled gears here. Right there. And then we can attach this right here like that. And it's going to stop, and it will take a minute to sort of reprocess and figure out just how fast it should or should not be going. And a fresh breeze, near gale. Uh-oh. I wonder if 1 windmill isn't enough. Well, I think we're going to learn a lesson here. And I think we're going to have to come to terms with the fact that we might have to attach more windmills to this input shaft here if we want to have the quern work faster. So for now, we're going to actually tear this back down and set up the original gearing here, and we will just have to be patient with our quern. Now, something we could have done up until this version of the game is we could just cut a hole in the side of this wall here, and we could slap another windmill in. Now this is no longer the case. There are some other technical details, but the long and short of it is, if you have 2 fully sized regular windmills, then their rotors must be at least 15 blocks apart, or you will suffer a 50% reduction in windmill power. Once we reach the Iron Age, we could come and upgrade this to a large windmill with some iron, and that would let us get additional power out of it. But I think for now, the saga of the windmills is over, and we are going to spend some time cleaning this up. I have a few things I want to do, maybe even making this a little less ugly. And I'm going to hang out in the area here while this grinds my bones, grinds my gears, and I would like to flesh out this tower a little bit. We need to clean up the build from underneath. There are a few things I want to do here as well, which I think you'll appreciate. And maybe chop back some of these a little bit at an angle, make them look like they've been carpented a little more, and just generally get this ready for your eyes and enjoyment. Let's get to it. And folks, there she lies, up on the mountain. Now better braced against the mountain. But yes, this is the pie in the sky mill and bakery. Now, before we wrap up here, I believe I promised you an interesting way up and down the mountainside here. And I intend to deliver. Boy, do I ever. Let's make our way down here, and we're going to start our means of ascending from the bottom. You see, back up here at the winery, we have right here this little nook right in the wall. And I thought that this would be the perfect place to have a super secret entrance. So let's get our pickaxe here. We're just going to dig into the wall a few blocks. And to cover our little tracks here, not only will we have some fully grown blackberry bushes here soon, but I figured we could also maybe place some vines if I can. Here we go. And some right down here at the very bottom. Like so. And we can disguise this with some extra vines. And there we go. It's still a bit obvious. Maybe we could tear out some of this granite and replace it with some of the slate here. But I'm pretty happy with this for now. Let's get our lantern in hand. And we're going to dig down to negative 568. That should do. And then from here, straight up. Okay, I lied. I had a realization. We do have to go a little bit deeper because I forgot that the cliff wall isn't perfectly vertical. So we're going to go in like 4 or 5 more blocks. Then we'll go up. I should be able to poke through here. However, the wrong direction. If I point the right way. Aha! Here we go. We now have a cute little way up and down the mountain. We can maybe clean up this dirt and replace it with some stone at some point. And maybe something back here too. But I am really happy with how this came out. What are you doing here? See, we have a little sort of not so secret basement. It's just underneath the service window floor here. Very secure, this trapdoor, I assure you. Not to worry, no one has ever died. But yeah, everyone, that is the Pie in the Sky Mill and Bakery. And that is a lesson in wind power. And how to harness it. And how to know when you need more power. Which is when your windmill don't turn no more. Future Corazar here, chiming in with something important that present Corazar forgot. And that is, when you are using your quern in the full automated mode, you don't want to stray too far from your base, or rather wherever you are grinding whatever is in your quern. And that's because the game will just straight up delete anything that it grinds if you are too far away from where the grinding is happening. So we're close enough to the pie in the sky that I'm not too worried about our contents disappearing. But if we were to go on a journey, say fishing across the lake or down to the dungeons again, then that would unload the pie in the sky and the quern. And therefore, when we came back, any grinding actions that would have succeeded, instead just delete your items. So don't do it, okay? Anyway, folks, that is going to about do it for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. I hope you enjoyed the final completion of the Pie in the Sky Mill and Bakery, and I hope you enjoyed or learned something, or perhaps both, about wind power. In the next episode, as I mentioned, we are going to start tying things together. I want to start building roads, and I want to start sort of decorating the in-between spaces, the liminal spaces, between our builds, as well as to sort of prep for planning on where our next ones are going to go. The names scrolling by belong to the awesome people who are supporting the channel by signing on as channel members. If you too would like to see your name in the credits, get early access to videos, or maybe even hear me butcher your name in the next part, then you can go check out the channel memberships by hitting the join button. The following folks have gone the extra mile to support the channel by signing on at the Seraph tier. Their names are Apec, Chrysanthemum, Dalto124, Elizabeth Woolley, Eric Franzen, Inger Raymond, Jack Clanless, Joshua Saruda, Linda Harris, Low Polly Katz, Lucky's Mom, Mad Lord Hubris, Operion, Oaktree, Pepe Patino, Picture, Sergio Alarcon, Servus, Snow Silver, Sue Wallace, Tyluna, and Wade Parker. As always, my name has been Kurazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
This machine, forged by the hubris of man, is comprised of 12 individual windmills, which in its day was quite effective. But as of 1.22, they are too close and thus reduced in efficiency by 50%, leading it to be the equivalent of only 6. And of course, none of this would work without a ventilation hole. It must be open to the sky, for the wind to mill.
Hey, a sheep. Neat.
But anyway, back to your regularly scheduled programming.